here are the general steps that we're going to do in order to complete a risk assessment. Now, I want to say complete because the book is going over that you've never done it before, and this is the first time for the organization, first time they're making decisions. But in reality, the company and the organization you're in should already have one, and they're constantly doing assessment year after year or whatever, and double checking that, hey, if we've added new equipment, how is that protected? We've gotten rid of equipment. Maybe we've outsourced things. What are some things that we can do with that? Hopefully they save some money with that. But this is a constant process, so there should be some type of circulation or reassessment of this every single year or something of that nature. So anyway, after logistics and components have been solidified, and we talk about with a very defined scope on exactly what system that you're going to be working on. The bigger the problem, so again, defining that scope, though, is really, really important. It could be the whole business process, the data process, but still, you want to try to keep your scope with that. Let's put it that way. You're going to identify threats and vulnerabilities. The organizations can reduce their losses if they identify the threats and the responsibilities and the pair between the two. They need to identify the likelihood of a risk will occur. That's kind of tricky because what you're going to do is you're basically going to use historical data or opinions to do research on this. Historical could also be using logs that have already been established with your group if it's been running for a while instead of developing something new. The opinions are going to come from the CVEs that we talked about, the tech blogs, the teach blogs, the tech blogs, government announcements, news, and all of that stuff. And we'll go over a little bit of that in detail here in a bit. You're going to identify asset values. As stated before, assets can be hardware, software, and data. Don't forget that's an asset too because you're probably generating money from that. And then you're going to determine the risk of the impact. This is a process too from historical and opinions. What have past losses been for the organization or another organization, maybe a competitor? Maybe they've been through some of the same process and had the same losses. Shouldn't say same, but they've had other losses that you need to take in consideration. Again, all this is going to come from CVEs, teach blogs again. Geez, government is, all these. Notice I'm going through this quite often about just doing a little bit of research online and a little bit of research in a couple of different things that we'll go over in the class that'll really help you make decisions on determining impact and identifying the likelihood. The last part is determine the usefulness of a safeguard or control. Safeguards or controls reduce the risk or the risk's impact. We know that part. But some controls are more effective than others. So there is going to be a CBA to see if there's going to cost-benefits analysis, to see if it's worth it. It may not be worth it. Maybe just, hey, I lose a laptop, it's $100, the insurance is $50 on it. It's not worth it. I'm exaggerating, but still, I think you hopefully get my point to this. The risk assessment will determine which one to actually implement. So that's the overall general steps that we're going to have for implementing our risk assessment.